Hey, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. So excited to be with you. So excited to share this news with you, people. We are winning. We're winning big. I'm going to prove it to you here today. Joe Biden, he can, get. I gotta be honest. I don't understand why everybody's worried about Taylor Swift. I wish people would just shut up about her. I just want to say that. It seems like people just won't quit talking about how Taylor Swift. Hey, look, if you're scared of Taylor Swift, um, probably not the game for you. Okay, honestly, if we can't beat some Swifties, we're really in trouble now, folks. Really in trouble. Okay, let's just let's just shut up about Taylor. All right. Anyways, I don't know. I don't get it. I really honestly don't get it, especially when I go over these numbers with you here this morning, which are absolutely jaw-dropping numbers. I'm going to share a special poll. Jake Lang, one of the J6ers, many of you saw him on my show. Um, J- Jake sent me some numbers. They actually commissioned a polling company to do some research. And I'm going to share that with you here today because it's pretty jaw dropping, the numbers. Um, excuse me. But anyway, so we're going to be talking about that. Um, I've also got some interesting information on this Justin Moan character, the guy who supposedly decapitated, but now seems to have disappeared from the news. That's an interesting story, but I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on some major winning, and I'm going to show that to you. But really quickly, do want to mention my sponsor. That's Midas Gold, Midas Gold Group, where you can get gold or silver. 480-360-3000. You're dealing with veteran owners, not commissioned salespeople. That's who I use for my gold and silver. So I'll probably place another order. Some people say, I can't afford silver. Just start with something like this. This is just a 1 ounce silver coin. They're around 20 some bucks. And then just build. If you had 12 of those over the course of the next year, you know, I don't know. I mean, I always start small. Do not ever despise small or humble beginnings. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So don't sit there and think, oh, I need to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars. Just start with what you can. It's that whole idea is if you start saving, and I don't buy this stuff because I think it's going to go up astronomically in value. I buy it for my doomsday scenario, people, just like other things that I buy. All right, so into the news. Oh shoot, why did that go out? There we go. I got that back. All right, so where should I start? Let me start with Trump's numbers. This is gonna look. Nikki Haley can think. Here, I'll just show that. I'll show you this. Here is the polling, folks. The polling. Do you see that? Do you see how Nikki Haley continues to be down there and Trump continues to go up? That's on national numbers. So the national numbers right now, 71.4% Trump, 13.9% Nikki Haley. Okay, Nikki Haley's toast. Why do they keep wasting the money on Nikki Haley? It's silly. In the general election matchup right now, this is out of a recent Bloomberg poll. This is not a conservative polling firm, okay? The general election right now nationally, actually, here, I'll give you the Real Clear Politics average right now is Trump plus 3.9. That's the polls done in January. Okay, that's people on wait till I'm going to show you some state numbers that'll really blow your mind. But that right there, Trump plus 3.9 is in the national popular vote. And you can say that doesn't matter. It does, okay? For a few reasons. I'll explain. One is narrative. Two is if he's winning national popular vote, he's winning the key swing states. Does that make sense to y'all? Okay. I'd like to take a few questions here on this show. I'm not going to see them all as they go through the chat. The chat moves pretty fast. Oh, do me a quick favor. Smash the like button. Chat in with where you're from. It really does help the stream. Just chatting with that. And here, let me ask you this question. Does this make any sense to you? Biden's disapproval rate is at 55.1. His approval rate is at 40.5. Where people, I do polling on the street all the time, just talking to people. Where are these over 40% of the people who approve of Joe Biden's job performance. Anybody? Texas in the house, and your handle is Florida Island, and you're from Texas. All right. I won't ask somebody from California on general election, Trump versus Biden. So this is in the 47.8 for Trump, 43.9 for Biden. And then I'm going to go to, here you go, the latest polls, people. Oh, gosh, get ready to have your mind blown. These are the latest polls right now. And just to show you that I'm not fake news, I'm going to hold this up for you. There's not a single Joe Biden in the plus column. These are key swing states, people. So let me just share this with you. Now, don't think that I don't understand the challenges with our election system. And that's why I want to give a really big shout out and thank all the people who have been involved in getting that fixed. Okay. People like, Professor Clements. I mean, that guy has gone down. He did New Mexico audit. He's out there spreading the message. They have now, I think, to the point where they have gotten machines. They've gone to hand count paper ballots. It's over 20 counties right now in the country. And this is a trend that's kicking. It just keeps moving forward. So the more we see about that, that's huge. Okay. So I want to thank all you. I mean, the people out in New Hampshire, Ken Eyring, Tom Murray, Marilyn Todd, all of them. The ladies that Audit the Vote PA. You got to get involved in this fight or you're going to feel overwhelmed, and you got to get involved at the local level. I keep preaching that. I know you guys are probably tired of me hearing that. Somebody from Massachusetts is on. That's like the bluest state in the nation. Kevin, I commend you. All right. So here, let me go through each poll. Arizona, Trump versus Biden, Trump +3. I think he's up more than 3 in Arizona. That's a whole other thing. Georgia, Trump versus Biden, Trump +8 in Georgia right now. Trump +8 in Georgia. Now, this is interesting because the Democrats have already started pulling money out of Georgia. And what's the number at which they just can't make it anymore? All right, Michigan, Trump +5. Again, people, this is a Bloomberg poll, Morning Consult poll. Nevada, Trump +8. North Carolina, Trump +10. And do you know how everybody was so concerned about Kennedy running and how he was going to pilfer votes from Donald Trump? Listen to this. Add Kennedy into the race. Arizona goes from Trump +3 to Trump +8. Run, Kennedy, run. Okay? Let's go to Georgia. Stays about the same. Michigan, Trump gains again to +6. Nevada, Trump goes up to +12 from +8. North Carolina goes to Trump +13. Pennsylvania with Kennedy in goes to Trump winning again at +3. And Wisconsin jumps to +8. So you're going up an average of probably 3 points in each state when you add Kennedy into the mix. So again, stop worrying about Kennedy. Stop worrying about Taylor Swift. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I honestly think, people, that at this point, and I could be wrong because I don't claim to be a prophet. You guys have heard me say that 100 times. I do not believe at this point, or I should say I do believe at this point, that Trump is going to win. God is going to show us his grace for 4 years. And in those next 4 years, people, get it together. Get it together. I mean, our nation. I mean, really work with people. I'm going to ask you to do something here. And this is going to, for some people, this is going to be hard. Let me ask this. Are you ready to do some hard things to get your country back? Are you ready? Yes or no? I mean, things that'll get you outside of your comfort zone. Are you ready, able, and willing to do that? Because this isn't even that complicated. It's just going to be hard for a lot of you. Are you willing? Yes or no? Some people are saying, like what? That's the point. Okay? Like what? You know, if you're having to ask like what, then you're not willing. Okay? So I see a lot of people saying yes. Talk to Democrats like they're real people and ask them questions. Learn some sales skills and start selling them on this country, America. America like it was in, say, the 80s, okay? When men knew they were men and women knew they weren't, okay? I do this all the time, and I am telling you, people, we are going to win this. The mainstream media sucks. It just absolutely sucks. You're not going to. We share what we can on social media and all that. Somebody super chatted me. I'll get to that in just a second. But this battle will be won just like discipleship, right? So I don't know how many of you read the Bible and how many of you, like that, whatever. I believe it's true, 100%. Okay. And so I was talking to a guy last night. So I'm at the club, young guy. He goes to the club all the time. And we were sitting in the sauna and just talking. And I asked him what he believed in terms of, because this is what you do as a disciple of Christ. You ask these questions, okay? And I said, did you go to church, or do you go to church? And, he said, no. And I said, well, did you go to church growing up? And he said, yes, but it was more just like his parents wanted him to go and so on. And then I said, well, do you, I saw a comment, I got to address this. They say Democrats just shut down the conversation. I've talked to a lot of Democrats. They don't shut down the conversation. Don't judge them. I mean this. Don't judge them. Don't sit there and think that they're just losers just because. Look, I'm playing in a political game where we're trying to change narrative and news. So I'm going to pick on some of these people. That's not your job to pick on them when you meet them. Your job is to listen to them. Okay. And these are people who are on more of a national stage, obviously. But I have talked to people who they're mentally, they're messed up people. They don't understand the basics of right and wrong and all of that. And when you get into their past and you're actually willing to just sit there and listen to them, you'll find out amazing things about these people. Anyway, so I talked to this guy. And then as we went on in the conversation, he's not going to church, he believes there's a God. He's basically agnostic. And I said, well, let me ask you this question. I said, if you were to die today, heaven forbid, you go home. I'm just asking questions and I'm curious. I'm not judging this guy, and they will open up to you. And I said, if you're driving home today, you get in a car wrecking, heaven forbid, you just die today. Where do you go, heaven or hell? And then he said, well, heaven. And I said, why? Why would you get to go to heaven when somebody else gets to go to hell? Why would that be the case? What would cause someone to go to hell? And he goes, well, these are tough questions. And I said, well, they're designed to be tough. But I said, you're going to spend, on average, 70 some years on earth, and you're going to spend eternity in heaven. So you should probably think more about the latter than the former. Okay. Anyways, really good conversation, got him thinking. And that's the kind of conversations you need to have about, if you believe in Jesus, those are the conversations you need to have about him, but also the future of our country. Okay. So ask people, we need an army of disciples for Christ, and we need an army of disciples for America. Okay. Just get out there and ask questions one-on-one. That's how we're going to win this. I'm telling you, you can share my videos over social media, but most of the people who listen to me on social media, except for when I'm doing these videos on E.G. and Carol and the left spins out of control. But, Judge Engoron is probably going to come down with his decision today, people. Just a little aside, I just want you to be prepared for this. Okay? Do you honestly think Judge Engoron is going to rule in Trump's favor? And they increased the amount from whatever it was, 200 some million to 370 million. Okay? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think Judge Engoron is going to give him a real ruling? Okay, I want to go back while you're thinking about that and chatting in. I want to go back here and say, free Palestine super chatted $5, said 1776 equals 2024, April 8th, 2024 eclipse, probably ellipse. Fight like, or maybe there's an eclipse on April 8th, 2024. Fight like a patriot, big pharma, Jesus, and the second is the key. All right. And it looks like we got another one from Free Palestine, Operation Warp Speed in lockdowns under Donald. So, the Donald Trump never ordered a lockdown. So, I mean, it never was the case. He suggested a 2-week pause. You go put yourself in the position of president, have the information that he had coming to him, and what would you do? And you're thinking about the lives of your country, people. I don't think that the initial response by him was the end of the world. It's not maybe what I would have done, but I don't know what I would have done because I didn't have to be in that position. Okay? I did not have to. This is the thing. A lot of people run around sitting there, oh, Trump did this or Trump did that. I understand that. But in totality, he was great. Nobody makes decisions right 100% of the time. And everybody who thinks, too, on the opposite end of that, everybody thinks Trump is some, playing 8D, 17D, 5, 10D, 20D chess. Okay, just stop. Donald Trump is not a chess player. He is like a Texas Hold'em player. Okay, that's Trump. I mean, seriously, if you watch his actions, that's why he always wants to get together with people face to face. That's why he was willing to go meet with Kim Jong-un. He has a good read on people. He really does. I mean, he can kind of sense people as they're talking, and he can understand. He doesn't always know all of their motives, but for Trump, it's more like a power. He can sense their power in terms of their resolve. Trump has lots of resolve. Okay, I hope I made myself clear there without confusing you too much. Okay, I want to go to this because this is really important for you to know. So Jake Lang sent me this. J6changeofvenue.com. I'm going to post this in the chat. You can follow along there if you want. So I'm going to post this in the chat. Click on this link if you want to follow along, because I encourage you to share this link with people. And we're going to run over these numbers. I'll share it again real quick. So if you're by a computer and you want to pull that up, go for it. And let's talk over these numbers. So what happened was the J6ers commissioned a polling company to do this polling to find out what the odds were of getting a fair trial in D.C. And irrefutable polling data shows Washington, D.C. jurors are biased against January 6 defendants. Now, I know you people are probably saying, well, of course they are, that kind of thing. Look at this. The numbers are startling, though. Here you go. So you see this? There's the poll. It's like a pie graph, and it says Donald Trump is to blame for January 6th. Would you say that the green is strongly agree, people? 3/4, 75%. Somewhat agree, 14.4%. So now we're at 89.9%. Okay. And then disagree, 5.1 strongly, and somewhat is like negligible. I mean, so you're looking at 6% of the people who disagree. 90% of these people out there believe that Trump was to blame for it all. Okay, now listen to this. This is going to get really wild. January 6th was an act of domestic terrorism. Would you say that you strongly agree and somewhat agree, people? 80%. Well, you're going into a jury where 80% believe that it's an act of domestic terrorism. Now listen to this. This is really wild. This is what the J6ers are up against. Again, this is polling of people in Washington, D.C. The penalty for insurrection, treason, or committing an act of domestic terrorism is life imprisonment or death, which would be a fair punishment for anyone who participated in any of the events of J6. So they're saying here, again, the penalty is life imprisonment or death, which would be a fair punishment for anyone who participated in the events of January 6th. Would you say that you strongly agree? 27% of these people want them put to death. Somewhat agree, 21.1%. So people, basically half of the people in DC want anyone who is involved in any way, shape, or form put to death. Is that, you're going to get a fair jury out of that? Okay, that's why I shared this in the chat. I want you to share this website out with the people you know, because I'm going to post it again here in the chat. In fact, here, I'm going to try and pin this right now. Why didn't I do that before? Anyways, no, oh gosh, it's going to the, hold on. I'm going to get it pinned here. I know I can. Pin message. There it is. So now it's pinned up at the top. So you guys, okay? This is nuts. I just imagine. Oh my gosh. So this was Triton polling they commissioned, performed to the highest standards, designed to pass the heavy scrutinization of federal prosecutors and judges who will be meticulously dissecting the results. The poll was administered from January 4th to January 8th. So this is even years ex post facto, people. This was just a recent poll. It probably would have been higher even right after, with over 420 Washington, D.C. residents participating. Okay, 68.3% of the polling was administered in live telephone interviews. 31.7% was administered text to web. Okay, but those are the numbers. That's what these people are up against. That's what these J6ers are up against. Okay, again, they commissioned this polling data. Here, I'll give you another one. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. Listen to this question. It's important that those who participated in the events of January 6th are punished to the fullest extent of the law to prevent anything like this from happening again. Would you say that you strongly agree and somewhat agree? So strongly agree is 68.6%. The total percentage of people who agree, either somewhat or strongly, 86.4%. Regardless, listen to this. Regardless of what they did, anyone who participated in the events at the Capitol on January 6th should serve prison time at a minimum. Would you say that you strongly agree? 51.3%. They want to basically take 1 million people and throw them in the hoot scow. Okay? Again, the poll is pinned at the top. Please share this with people you know. And January 6th was an insurrection. Would you say that you agree? Strongly, over 3/4 of the residents of Washington, D.C. strongly believe that it was an insurrection. Now, I know you say, well, Neil, I thought you were talking about winning. I did. I talked about Trump's poll numbers. Okay, come on. Go back to the beginning if you just joined the stream. I mean, they're amazing numbers. But this is what these J6 defendants are up against. So please, I pinned the link at the top of the chat. Open that up in a separate web page right now and share that everywhere you can. And write a little write-up. This is what the J6 defendants are up against. And then I'd say something to the effect, no matter what you believe, no one should be guilty before they're proven guilty. No one's guilt should be decided until they've had a chance to prove their innocence. That's the tenet of the American justice system. You know, would you agree with that? I mean, come on. This is crazy. This is something I found really interesting, and this I'll probably be able to bring this to a close on that. But I want to take a moment right now, please, and just go open that page, and so you've got that saved. So once this is done, you can do that immediately and share that poll data out there. I'll mention my sponsor while you're doing that again real quick. Midas Gold, MidasGoldGroup.com, or call 480-360-3000 or text Lumberjack to 232-425. Text Lumberjack to 232-425 to receive free silver with a qualifying order. Now, here's something interesting. Did you guys hear this crazy story yesterday about the man who killed his father and cut his head off? Did you guys hear about this? So apparently, USMC Lady Vet shared this. She said, quit telling me it's fake news. It's not. I saw the whole video. I listened to the audio. Twitter has taken it down, and so is YouTube. Now, so I saw this story. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but Pennsylvania man arrested after allegedly decapitating his father. It was all over CNN and NBC, whatever. Okay, but listen to this. Here's the thing. Remember, they were trying to say that he snapped he was a Trump supporter. Did you guys catch this? I'm just curious. Did you guys catch this? I guess his name was Justin Mohn or Mon, M-O-H-N. And his father was a federal employee. Did you guys all see these headlines? I mean, they kind of came out quick and then they kind of disappeared. And I guess I didn't think anything of it till I saw this. And Laura Loomer said Justin Mohn is not a Trump supporter. And she went back and pulled up some screenshots of stuff from him. Also, he said he's a member of a militia and called for militiamen to take out federal employees on his online rant. Okay. So guess what the U.S. Senate is currently doing? And I did see this the other day. The U.S. Senate, under Democrats, has proposed Senate Bill 3589, Preventing Private Paramilitary Act, to ban militias in the U.S. So go look that up. It's Senate Bill 3589. I saw this just the other day. To ban militias in the U.S. Now, obviously, the Second Amendment, well-regulated militia and so on. I mean, so obviously, if people want to form militias, they can. That's not against the law. But they're trying to make it against the law, which would be in juxtaposition to the Constitution, so it should be an invalid law, but we've seen what's been going on with this before. Justin Mohn sure looks like the perfect Democrat patsy for the sake of demonizing people who call out the invasion on the border and for the sake of getting support to ban militias. So if you need to let your senators know, okay, NBC is still running this story, so good. But how are they running the story? See, that's, I think, probably what was actually stopped here is not so much the story, because if they can continue running it that he's some crazy right-winger Trump supporter who, beheaded his father, who was a federal employee. I mean, that's good for their narrative. But here, even my own family. So this is Justin Mohn. This is Laura Loomer always goes out and she grabs all these people's fake book posts and everything like that. So I'm just going to read to you from it. There's not even such a thing as America anymore. There's a civil war between Justin Mohn and his followers versus the cult. America is secretly focused on revolving around me, such that the cult is trying to hide me and kill me while empowering the cult and using the media as a distraction. Nobody thinks it's odd that I'm suing one of the biggest companies in America due to a devout cult belief that I am the second coming king of earth. I mean, Mayor Suthers of Governor Hickenlooper are literally about to go to jail for the rest of their life after I sue them for everything they own due to allegiance to a cult who thinks I'm God. This guy's a nut job, okay? This guy's a nut job. But listen to this. Even my own family upholds this cult belief and is willing to go to jail to prove it. Donald Trump, if this does not get fixed ASAP, then you will also be in jail for the rest of your life after I sue you for everything you own. That's not a threat. That's a promise. Female dog. Okay? And he's not a Trump supporter. He obviously, and yet they're trying to portray him as such. So I just, this is narrative. And one of the things that you're going to find is, it's harder for the truth to spread than a lie, because they're always running these lies and then they never come back and correct the truth. That's why I took three opportunities yesterday in my live, pinning it in the other live I did, and then also covering it in a video, that the Rachel Levine story that I had was the wrong Rachel Levine. So if you guys caught that, I was talking about, I wanted to make sure I covered that ad nauseum. I did not want to think otherwise. And somebody commented, they said, Neil, I mean, I was kind of afraid to tell you this because I was actually alerted to it by one of my people in the comments. And then I found out that it was not the same Rachel Levine. And they're like, oh, I was kind of worried to tell you this. I'm like, no, man, if I'm actually wrong on facts, I mean, I don't get my facts wrong very often, but I have, obviously I just did it the other day. And if you can't admit you're wrong, this is not the game for you. It's not. It's just not. If you can't come out and correct something and admit your mistakes, it's not the game for you. I just really want to make that clear, because admitting you're wrong is important. It is. All right. So hopefully I made my point there. Okay. So I love y'all. Okay. A lie can run around the world before truth gets its boots on. Okay. Anyways, I hope you guys can understand that. I mean, some people are probably like, "Wow, he got it wrong, so we're done with him." You know, that's fine. That's fine. Everybody has their right to do whatever. But I'm going to just, I don't want to be, no matter what it is, even if it benefits my side, I don't want to be that way. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that about me. I got something wrong once before. It was a couple years ago with Stacey Abrams I had to correct. You know, so sometimes I'd be relieved to be wrong. I know that's a truth too. So anyways, I love your guys' comments. I'm sorry I don't get to read them all. But James O'Keefe shared something. I'm going to lead the show out by quoting James O'Keefe and read this to you. Okay. This is powerful. Okay. It has been an indescribable hell on earth for me to witness people go against everything they claim to believe in, everything good and right, in service to their love of money and power. I've witnessed envy destroy people whose hearts I thought I knew. I've seen an unhealthy obsession with comfort and safety from countless others. These weaknesses stand between us and what we're up against. The mission is to discover other people whose principles are not for sale, who will do the right thing rather than talk about doing the right thing. That's from James O'Keefe. So I'm going to leave you with that, and keep fighting the good fight. We'll see you on the next episode. Okay. I love y'all. Peace out.